Now we will move to another concept. It's called as compound bar or composite bars. So far we have discussed about a single material, a bar made up of single material subjected to the force or number of forces, how to find out stresses induced and how to find out the strain in terms of change in length, change in diameter, lateral strain, volumetric strain, change in dimension, volume, change in volume, something like that. So, considering a single material is an ideal case, for all practical purposes, to serve the purpose and to achieve the economy, always we use the combination of materials. Means we use more than one material to have a structural member. When we have more than one or two materials to have a member or a structure, it is called as composite structure or composite bar, composite material, something like that. Example for composite bar or compound bar is our the RCC column, RCC beam. Column made up of concrete and steel. Of course, concrete made up of the binding material cement, coarse aggregate gravel, then fine aggregate sand. So, aggregates together will form a concrete and the steel. For all practical purpose, again we consider concrete as one material and steel as other material. Concrete together with the steel will form a composite member or a composite composite bar. Similarly, we can use the other material, say you can use iron, the steel and aluminum, steel and brass, any material, different wooden, one type of wood, other type of wood, or wood and steel together to have a composite member to serve the purpose. In detail we discussed right from the beginning, it is elastic limit. Then we discussed elastic constants in detail, Young's modulus, shear modulus, bulk modulus, then Poisson's ratio. And also we learned that it is the Young's modulus for a structural steel is about 200 GPa. It is having highest value. We call this that Young's modulus as king of elastic constants. Based on elastic limit, elasticity behavior of the material, we can decide the strength. Means higher the Young's modulus, more is the strength of the material. Based on the strength of the material, when we propose a composite member, we decide the quantity of the member. Again, I will come back to RCC column. You might be seen in RCC column, if I consider a cross section of the column. So, this is the cross section and this is the length of the column, if I consider longitudinal section also. This is the longitudinal section of the column. Here I cannot see the steel provided here, sometimes I can see, sometimes I cannot see. Whereas if I take cross section, I can see if the column is made up of 4 bars, 4 steel bars, and see here coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, this is steel. So, this is the cross sectional area of the column, and for that we used steel and concrete. Steel and concrete together will form a composite member. You can see here the cross sectional area of steel, only 4 rods. Only this cross sectional area of the steel is a fractional area, it covers only fractional area of the total cross sectional area of the steel and concrete. whereas the cross sectional area of the column is the concrete is more. Though we use a smaller cross sectional area of steel here with a bigger cross sectional area of or large cross sectional area of concrete, so it serves the purpose because steel is having a more Young's modulus and it will take care of the tensile load acting on the column, and the concrete is it will take care of the compressive load acting on the column. Likewise, depends upon the requirement, we use the material, and always when we use the material in bulk, particularly composite material, the material having a higher elasticity we use in smaller in quantity, and the material having a lower elasticity or Young's modulus we in larger quantity, and they serve the purpose. Similarly, if you use the other members, steel and aluminum member, steel or brass member, or aluminum and brass member together. So, with this we can say that a composite member is one which is made up of more than one material, which is made up of two or more materials. The materials are held firmly together so that they cannot be separated easily. A composite member is one which is made up of two or more material. The materials are held firmly together so that they cannot be separated easily. When materials are held together firmly, the load coming on the composite bar or composite member will be received by the member as a whole, and the load carrying capacity of the member depends upon the Young's modulus of the material present in the composite bar. Again, let us consider this RCC column. Though the cross sectional area of steel is very less here compared to concrete, load carried by the steel is more when compared to the load carried by concrete, because the capacity of steel, it carries more load than the concrete. And again, if the composite member, concrete column is a composite member or a compound bar, as a whole it receives the load carried by the materials are different, and the column is meant for receiving load continuously. Column is meant for receiving load continuously for its lifespan of say 100 years. Whenever load coming on the column, it receives the load, and the load carrying capacity of the column depends upon the material present in. But column as a whole, it will receive the load. Even while receiving load also, there is no change in the shape and size. If at all, if there is change in their shape and size, means if the strain happens in the column and it will be same, means column as a whole there is change in length, there is a decrease in length or increase in length, and there is no change in load carrying capacity of the column. Load carrying capacity of the column depends upon the material present in the column. Similarly for other cases. So from this we can understand like this: composite bar or compound bar is a one which is made up of two or more material, which are held, the materials are held firmly together so that they cannot be separated easily. When compound bar is subjected to load, column or a compound bar as a whole will receive the load, and the load carried by the material is depend upon the Young's modulus of the material. But as the column as a whole received the load, the changes in or strain in the column will be same. changes it is once it receives, it continuously receives and there is no change in the column position. It keep on receiving the load for its entire lifespan. So based on this, we can establish the relationship. Already we used the concept while establishing the relationship between Young's modulus and the rigidity modulus or shear modulus. Every strain can be expressed in two ways, that is in terms of change in dimension and in terms of direct stress. Strain calculated in terms of change in dimension and in terms of direct stress will be same that we did there to establish the relationship between. Same concept we use here also in compound bar or composite bar. So before commencing this compound or composite bar, we will have that concept. Every strain, we can consider this as a strong node. Every strain can be expressed in two ways, namely in terms of change in dimensions and direct stress. Example, in terms of change in length, longitudinal strain is equal to delta L by L, where delta L is equal to change in length, L is the original corresponding original length. And in terms of direct stress, again longitudinal strain is equal to F divided by E, direct stress divided by Young's modulus of elasticity. Strain obtained by using change in dimension and strain obtained by using direct stress will be same. So this concept we use in compound bar or composite bar. Again, in order to understand this compound bar or composite bar, let us consider a member made up of two materials. Let A1 be the cross sectional area of the material, A2 be the cross sectional area of other material. E1 is the Young's modulus of the material, E2 is the Young's modulus of the material. F1 is the stress induced in the first material, F2 is the stress induced in the second material. Then L is the original length of the material. Let this material is or bar is subjected to a compressive load. This is considered a composite bar or compound bar made up of two materials, material 1 and material 2. As we already discussed that it is compound bar is one which is made up of two or more materials. Material of the bars are held firmly together so that they cannot be separated. So materials, this compound bar is made up of two materials. The cross sectional area of the materials, Young's modulus of the materials are given, and again I have written in advance F1 and F2 stresses induced. Then we can also write it is P1 and P2 for a little later reference. When this compound bar is subjected to the axial load, compressive load or tensile load, when we apply load, bar as a whole will receive the load like this. When they receive the load as a whole, and the load will be transferred to the bar, carrying capacity of the bar depends upon the Young's modulus of the material. Accordingly, we use. So here we can see cross-sectional area and Young's modulus F1 P1. So this obviously the material having less quantities, having more Young's modulus, hence we have used lesser cross-sectional area. Then depends upon the material, the load, total load coming on the bar will be received. P1 and P2 is the load received by the material. E1 and E2 is the Young's modulus of the material. F1 and depends upon the load the materials carried, the stresses will be induced. But column as a whole will receive load, carrying capacity depends upon the material. Once we applied and we keep on applying load, there won't be change in length. If at all, if the change in length takes place, the change in length will be same because column as a whole will receive the load. In other words, strain in different materials will be same here. Change in length is same means strain in different materials the same. Only load carrying capacity of the materials are different and strain will be same. This is the concept of compound bar. When a compound bar or composite bar subjected to load, bar as a whole receive the load and carrying capacity of the bar depends upon the material of the compound bar. And hence the total load coming on the bar will be shared by the materials depends upon their capacity. And even after it is acted upon by the load, it acts as a bar only, compound bar only. If at all, if there is a changes here, changes means change in dimension, it will be same because it is a column as a whole receives the load. So these changes, same changes taking place in the compound bar or change in dimension taking place in the compound bar is known as strain. So when change in dimension taking place because of the applied in compound bar, we can say that it is strain in materials will be same. So this is the concept of compound bar. So as per the discussion we can write it is strain in both the materials same. Directly we can write since strain in both the materials, strain in same means column as a whole it will receive the load, but changes in length will be same means changes in length will be same means nothing but strain in both the material will be changes in length or changes in dimension will be same means strain in both the material will be same. Since strain in both the materials is same, then we can write expression. Strain can be expressed in terms of change in length if you consider longitudinal strain or in terms of direct stress. Then F1 by E1 is equal to F2 by E2. F1 by E1 is nothing but longitudinal strain in one material is equal to longitudinal strain in the other material. F1 by E1 is nothing but delta L1 divided by L and delta L2 divided by L, because delta L1 is equal to delta L, strain in both the material will be same. So this can be is equal to change in length divided by original length, or we can write like this. So strain in both the materials will be same. So this can also be written as F1 is equal to E1 by E2 into F2. So here E1 by E2 is known as modular ratio. Modular ratio is the ratio of Young's modulus of one material to the Young's modulus of the other material is known as the modular ratio. And F1 is equal to P divided by A1, P1 divided by A1, and F2 is equal to P2 divided by A2. So stresses induced in one material is equal to load carried by the material divided by cross sectional area of the material, and stress induced in second material is equal to P2 divided by A2. Also, or we can write, but total load coming on the column will be shared by the different materials P1 plus P2. P1 and P2 will not be same, that depends upon the material. Stronger the material will receive more load, weaker the material will receive less load. This can also be written as, so P1 can be written in terms of stress and cross sectional area, F1 A1 plus F2 A2, this is P. So this is equation 2, and this we can call this as equation 1. So in the entire the compound bar or composite bar, we use these two equations. So if these weak equations we obtained based on the concept. Concept is same that we repeatedly discussed. Compound bar as a whole will receive the load, and when the bar is acted upon by load, it receives the load as a whole, and the load carrying capacity of the material depends upon the materials. Strain in both the material will be same. It will be receive the load, and after receiving load also the compound bar will act as a compound bar. Hence, changes in dimension, if at all, if there is any, it will take place equally. Means strain in both the materials will be same. Based on that strain concept, we have written F1 by E1 is equal to F2 by E2. It is nothing but longitudinal strain. Then F1 is equal to E1 by E2 into F2, where E1 by E2 is known as the modular ratio. It need not be 1, 2, it is different materials. Next, so direct stresses can be calculated using these relations. Finally, load coming on the compound bar will be shared by the different materials. If there are two materials, if there are three materials, we can write P is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. And from this we can write P is equal to F1 A1 plus F2 A2. So to solve numerical problems, usually we use these two equations and proceed further. So whenever we come across a compound bar, we to calculate stresses induced, we have to use the concept of compound bar. Means first we have to equate the strains. Strain in different materials are same. After equating the strain, we get the stress of one material in terms of Young's modulus of both the material. Then that stress in terms of Young's modulus of different material and stress of other material, we substitute the values in the load carried by the material equation. So we will get the unknown values. Now let us consider a simple problem. A compound bar consists of a circular steel rod of diameter 20 millimeter is rigidly fitted with the copper tube of internal diameter 20 millimeter and thickness 5 millimeter. If the bar is subjected to a load of 100 kilonewton, find the stresses developed in the materials stop. Take E for steel and copper as 200 GPa and 120 GPa. Respectively. A compound bar consists of a circular steel rod of diameter 20 millimeter is rigidly fitted with the copper tube of internal diameter 20 millimeter and thickness 50 millimeter. If the bar is subjected to a load of 100 kilonewton, find the stresses developed in the material by taking Young's modulus of both the material as 200 and 120 GPa respectively. Now let us consider cross sectional the dimensions of these two bar and tube. A steel rod of diameter rod is nothing but a circular one. A steel rod of diameter 20 millimeter is rigidly fitted with the copper tube of internal diameter 20 millimeter and thickness of 5 millimeter. So, thickness of the copper tube is 5 millimeter. So, different material hatch it in the different directions. This is a copper tube. Steel rod. Steel rod having the dimension of, it is having 20 millimeter diameter. Copper tube having a thickness of 5 millimeter. So, this is the cross section. Based on the cross section, now we can write the diameters. Given for the solid circular section we can use small diameter, ds we can call, ds is equal to 20 millimeter diameter of the steel rod, whereas copper we consider dc, you can write dcu internal diameter of the copper tube is again 20 millimeter. It is fitted firmly with the copper tube, and external diameter of the copper tube is equal to internal diameter plus this thickness and this thickness, means plus 2 times of thickness, that is equal to 20 plus 2 times of 5, that is equal to 20 plus 10, 30 millimeter. Next, it is subjected to a load of 100 kilonewton. P is equal to 100 kilonewton, that is equal to 100 into 10 power 3 Newton. Given Young's modulus of steel ES is equal to 200 GPa, that is equal to 200 into 10 power 3 Newton per millimeter square, and Young's modulus of copper ECU is equal to 120 GPa. See the variations of Young's modulus values. 120 into 10 power 3 Newton per millimeter square. It is asked to find the stresses developed in the material. Let Fs is equal to stress induced in the steel, and Fcu is the stress induced in copper. After writing the given data along with the cross section of the given rods and tube, so we can calculate cross sectional area of the steel rod and copper tube. Cross section area of steel rod that is AS is equal to pi d S square divided by 4. It is a solid circular one. So we can calculate and write directly is equal to pi into 20 square divided by 4, that is equal to 314.815 millimeter square. Next, so we come across solid and hollow section. So whenever you come across solid section, directly we use pi d square by 4. Whenever we come across hollow section, we have to use both the dimension, both the internal and external dimension of the hollow section. Next, cross sectional area of copper tube, that is ACU is equal to pi by 4 into DCU square minus DCU square, capital DCU square minus small DCU square, that is equal to pi by 4 into capital D is 30 square minus 20 square. So that is equal to 392.69 millimeter square. Next, now let us use the concept of the compound bar or composite bar. So knowing after calculating cross sectional area, we should not calculate stresses induced. It is possible to calculate stresses directly. Load we know, cross sectional area, load divided by area stress, that is not the stress in compound bar. Again it depends upon the load carry. First we have to decide the load carrying capacity. Based on that compatibility condition, we have to calculate the stresses induced. We have to use compulsorily the compound bar the concept. Next, since this is for compound bar or composite bar, since strain in both the materials is same, we can write that is, there we used E1, E2, F1, F2. Here comfortably we can use Young's modulus of the material steel is ES, Young's modulus of the copper is ECU. Fs is the Young's stress induced in steel and FCU is the stress induced in the copper. So we can write the longitudinal strain Fs by Es is equal to FCU divided by ECU. Here Fs is equal to stress in steel and FCU is equal to stress in copper. Therefore, Fs is equal to Es divided by ECU into FCU. So we know Es, Young's modulus of steel, it is 200 into 10 power 3, that divided by 120 into 10 power 3 into FCU, that is equal to 1.66 times of FCU. Next step is we have to decide the load carried by the different materials. Further, P is equal to PS plus PCU. Total load coming on the compound bar is equal to load received by steel plus load received by the copper. This can also be written as PS is nothing but Fs AS plus FCU ACU. So load received by steel is equal to stress into cross sectional area, and load received by copper is equal to stress in copper multiplied by cross sectional area of the copper. So we know P is equal to 100 into 10 power 3, that is equal to Fs, we got Fs in terms of FCU, that is 1.66 FCU into area of cross section of steel is equal to 314.15 plus consider FCU as it is, FCU into area of cross section of copper, it is 392.69. So here the only unknown is the FCU. FCU means stress in copper. There we can calculate stress in copper. FCU is equal to 109.38 Newton per millimeter square. If we substitute this FCU in the expression here, in the equation we got earlier, therefore Fs is equal to 1.66 times of 109.38, so that is equal to 181.58 Newton per millimeter square. So we calculated stress developed in copper, and also we calculated stress developed in steel. Earlier we discussed that the load carried by compound bar depends upon the material. Comparing the steel and copper, steel is stronger than copper. Based on Young's modulus we can decide, and we got the values like that only. So total load acting or coming on the compound bar is equal to load received by the steel and load received by the copper. Then that can be written in terms of stress and cross sectional area. We obtained the stress developed in copper is equal to 109, whereas stress developed in steel is equal to 181. 109, 181, almost 2 times. So again, based on this stress obtained in cross sectional area, we can work out for the load carried by steel and copper. Definitely it is load carried by steel is more than load carried by copper. That is what the concept of compound bar. Compound bar as a whole will receive the load, and load carrying capacity of the materials depends upon the type of material. Since the materials are held firmly together, they cannot be separated, and load coming on the compound bar will be received by the bar as a whole, and if at all change in length or change in dimension takes place, as a whole the compound bar changes. Hence, because of these changes, same changes in materials, we can say it is strain in different materials are same, and that concept we used, and we got the stresses like this. Always to solve problem on compound bar, we have to use this concept. First, you have to equate the strains in different material, then we will get stress in terms of Young's modulus and other material stress. Finally, you have to use this, the load carried by the total load carried by different materials are different. It is total load is equal to load carried by one material plus load carried by the other material. Then finally we got this. So should not calculate stress directly by using given P and cross sectional area. It should be like this only. Now let us consider another problem. A load of 2 meganewton is applied on a column (500 mm by 500 mm) in cross section. Full stop. The column is reinforced with the with 4 steel bars of 10 mm diameter . One in each corner. Find the stresses in concrete and steel take ES is equal to 2.1 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square, and EC is equal to 1.4 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square. It's again it's an interesting problem that on the column that column we considered for explanation in understanding compound bar or composite bar. A load of 2 meganewton is applied on a column. Column may be a steel column, a wooden column, or a stone column. Here the column considered is an RCC column of 500 mm by 500 mm cross section. Let us consider the cross section of the column, a square column. The column is reinforced. Reinforced means if you provide or insert steel to the column, it is called as reinforcement. With the 4 steel bars of 10 mm diameter, one in each corner. This column means a concrete column. It is reinforced with the 4 steel bars of 10 mm diameter at each at the corner. RCC column. And these are the 4 bars of 10 mm diameter. Given Young's modulus of steel and the concrete. Asked to find stresses in steel and concrete. So here we need to calculate cross-sectional area of concrete and steel separately. To calculate cross-sectional area of concrete, we need to calculate first cross-sectional area of steel. Here, cross-sectional area of the concrete is equal to the total cross-sectional area of the column minus cross-sectional area of the steel. So that we have to consider here. Given load coming on the column P is equal to 2 meganewton, that is equal to 2 into 10 power 6 Newton. Young's modulus of steel ES is equal to 2.1 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square. Here no need to convert this into again conversion. It is already given in the required unit Newton per millimeter square. Only when we come across the Young's modulus value other than Newton per millimeter square, we have to convert this into Newton per millimeter square. Then Young's modulus of concrete EC is equal to 1.4 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square. Next, asked to calculate stresses. Fs is equal to question mark and Fc is equal to question mark. Let us calculate the cross-sectional area of steel and concrete first. Cross-sectional area of steel rods, that is area of steel is equal to pi d square by 4. Diameter of the steel rod is pi d square by 4 into number of 4 bars. Here diameter of steel is equal to 10 millimeter. ds is equal to 10 millimeter. That is AS is equal to pi into 10 square divided by 4 into 4. This 4 because there are 4 number of bars. That is equal to 314.15 millimeter square. Next, cross sectional area of concrete is equal to total cross sectional area of the column minus cross sectional area of the steel. So what is total cross sectional area here? 500 into 500, that minus area of cross section of the steel. Should be very careful here. Always for RCC column, first you have to calculate cross sectional area of the steel, then cross sectional area of concrete is equal to total cross sectional area of the column minus cross sectional area of the steel. That is equal to 500 into 500 minus area of steel is 314.15 is equal to 249685.85 millimeter square. So this is actual cross-sectional area of the concrete. Once we calculate cross-sectional area of steel and concrete, then we can easily calculate the stresses induced, and the two stresses induced in compound bar or composite bar should be calculated based on compound bar principle. Next, since strain in both the materials is same, that is, we can write expression like this: Fs by Es, equate the strains. Fs by Es is equal to Fc by Ec. Strain in steel is equal to strain in concrete. That is, Fs is equal to Es divided by Ec into Fc, that is equal to 2.1 into 10 power 5 divided by 1.4 into 10 power 5 multiplied by Fc. So area of stress in steel is equal to 1.5 times of Fc. Next, further, load coming on the column will be shared proportionately by the steel and concrete. That can be written as P is equal to Ps plus Pc. That is, P is equal to Ps can be written as Fs into As, stress in steel into area in steel, plus Pc, stress in concrete into area of concrete. Given P is equal to 2 into 2 meganewton, 10 power 6, that is equal to Fs is equal to 1.5 times of Fc, and area of steel we calculated is 314.15 plus retain Fc as it is into area of concrete is 249685.85. So solving this, you will get Fc is equal to 7.99 Newton per millimeter square. By back substitution in the expression which we already got, and Fs is equal to 7.99 into 1.5, that is equal to 11.99 Newton per millimeter square. So the value obtained are strongly supporting the concept which we discussed earlier. Load coming on the compound bar will be received by the compound bar as a whole. The load carrying capacity depends upon the material. Stronger the material will receive more load, and the weaker material will receive less load. Accordingly, stresses induced and load carrying capacity. You can see here, though the cross-sectional area of the column, in the cross-sectional area of the column, cross-sectional area of the steel is very fractional when compared to cross-sectional area of concrete. Here, see here, cross-sectional area of steel is only 314, whereas the cross-sectional area of concrete you can see here. It's not comparable again, but still it will, because of the strength of the material. So in terms of stresses induced also, because it carries more load, stress is more in steel and less in concrete. So like this you can solve the problem. For more number of problems, again some more number of problems in this compound bar will meet the next class. Thank you.